right. We hit the record button. JML here. Fire Frank on the other side. I definitely don't have the banners up. Let me fix that. Well, I have the banner up, but I don't have our names up. There's our names. There we are. Um, Charlie is out on assignment. We miss you. Hopefully, we get you back next week. We should get you back next week. Um, yeah. Then we could be the three best friends that anyone could have. The three best friends that anyone could have. So I just want to start off by gloating a little bit.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to play an audio clip. I don't think I'm going to show it because, God, I don't want to deal with another copyright strike on my own stuff. So I'm going to play an audio clip. You guys listen to it. YouTube superstar Logan Paul signed a contract with WWE. Now, if this would have happened 5 years ago, I think I would be really irritated and annoyed. Hot take number one: he's probably the biggest star in the company outside of Roman Reigns now. People know who he is. Okay. So that was from when he put pen to paper on his official WWE contract a couple months ago when we first started this show. And Charlie agreed with me at the time. I don't think Frank was on during that episode, but now we have reports of a crown jewel. I'm trying to get the name of all the pay-per-views in order. Main event: Roman Reigns, the biggest star in wrestling. Whether you want to admit it or not, he's the biggest star in wrestling. Versus Logan Paul. Now, there's been a very polarizing take, as there always is, when an outsider comes into wrestling and they get a title shot. But let me tell you, this is unlike many of the pushes in the past. A couple of years ago, we had Cain Velasquez come in versus Brock Lesnar. And you know what? It was supposed to be kind of cool, but I think Cain was banged up. But you weren't getting the crossover appeal. It was combat sport athletes against each other, and we've already seen it in a more realistic style in UFC. And by the way, in the realistic fight, Cain Velasquez beat the crap out of Brock Lesnar. So I don't think it had as much appeal. Now, Roman appeared on Logan Paul's podcast, Impulsive, 3 days ago. Before recording, I told Frank, it's like Impulsive gets millions of views just on YouTube. And that's just it's a podcast, so it goes everywhere. This episode, let me pull it up here momentarily. I'm not going to show the video because I don't want another copyright strike. Okay. What does that say there? In 3 days, 1.9 million views. And let's compare it to the previous episode. Roman Atwood, 1.6 million views. This partnership is mutually beneficial, but I think it's more beneficial to WWE because they're going to get newer consumers of their product, or they're going to bring back the casual fan that left 20 years ago during the end of the Attitude Era, beginning of Ruthless Aggression. Okay, Frank, what's your opinion, your thoughts here?
Yeah, much like yourself, I would probably say the same thing. If this was like five years ago, I'd be like, really? That's what we're doing? Um, and and especially in in tandem with these Saudi shows that are very polarizing, obviously.
Mhm.
My personal opinion is it's just a wrestling show. I'm not really concerned with not that I'm not concerned with things in real life, but I don't think a wrestling show is going to make a big deal one way or another. But yeah, it's also made like the fact we just said. People are saying, "Oh, I don't know who that is," or "I don't watch it," but it's a couple million people do. And the Paul brothers have this huge following, starting on YouTube, much like we just started. Look where they are today.
Yeah.
But his performances in the past let me know that this is not going to be some joke of a match. He's going to put the work in, and as much as he's been miscast maybe in his role so far in WWE, he's a natural heel, but he can talk, and we know Roman can talk, and we've got Paul Heyman back.
He's
So,
athletic. He's big. He's
yeah,
tall. He's strong.
like if you looked at him, you might think, oh, he looks like a prototypical WWE guy, right? Or a wrestler.
Especially because as he's gotten older, he doesn't look as much as he doesn't look
Yeah,
as young like a boy. Like
right.
because he had a really young face. As he's aging, he's grown out of it.
Hmm.
Um,
And he's filmed, and he seems very comfortable. Even the more appearances he's made, he seems more
yeah,
comfortable with it. When he was first on, he didn't know what he was doing, but he's kind of he gets it. He understands. Obviously, it's entertainment,
and you could
but
tell.
that's how he's built his whole thing.
I've watched Impulsive for probably close to a year and a half on YouTube. You could tell that he's really enjoying wrestling. Like he's really caught the wrestling bug, so to speak. He even said, like, I've been studying, I've been watching documentaries of, The Rock, Roman, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, because he wants to get better. He wants to improve. He's been talking to Paul Heyman. So again, is he gonna win the title? No, I don't think that's gonna happen. This is to drum up fanfare because you want a reaction, and this main event has already garnered a reaction. You have the Twitter wrestling community that just they want to dump on everything. And granted, on this show we do dump on stuff as well, but it comes from a constructive criticism point of view. When it becomes a F that guy, what did he do to deserve this? Let me tell you something. Whether you think the fight and the finish was fixed, he got in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Okay? He took punches from Floyd Mayweather. I mean, come on.
Yeah, raise your hand in the comments if you would do that.
Yeah, granted, people will say he got paid handsomely,
Hey,
but they still
it
owe
drew
him
money.
money. They haven't even really paid him what
It
he was
drew
supposed to get
money,
paid
you
for
know.
that fight.
And he doesn't really need another thing. He does this WWE stint. Does he need to do this?
No.
Do they need him more than he needs them? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that he wants to do it proves what you just said. He's caught the bug. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not every wrestler has to be someone that grew up a big fan. There's
No.
plenty of cases of people that got into it, then became fans. Yeah, Kurt Angle was never the pro wrestling guy,
Goldberg.
amateur guy, Goldberg, but these guys made it to the top.
Brock
And
Lesnar wasn't.
Rock wasn't, no, but he was a natural at it. It's just the way it goes. Just the whiny attitude of the fan base in general. Just this is not like fans of any one promotion. This is how it is. It's just this. Well, they don't deserve it. Like it becomes almost like this half kayfabe, half shoot thing. Where like, oh, he doesn't deserve it. I'm like, Are we talking about deserving like like we're talking about this is a real fight? This is boxing. This is football. Whatever. It's very strange to me. I never really understood it. And then you get situations where, like you said, oh, who's that guy? But then you have people that just want to complain because it's WWE doing it. If somebody else did it, they wouldn't like it, but they wouldn't make as big a stink. There's all kinds of stuff like that going on.
Well, they did the same stuff with Bad Bunny, but now,
Yeah.
Bad Bunny is on the pedestal and he deserves
Right.
to be. They did the same thing with Pat McAfee.
Sure. And these got complaints too, but maybe once they saw them in the ring, they stopped.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I think I almost called him Jake. Logan had a better performance than any of them.
Probably, yeah. He
I'll
wasn't
put
just
it
doing
this way:
spots.
this isn't. Well, it is bashing Dom Mysterio, but honestly, who does a better Three Amigos, Logan Paul or Dom Mysterio? Logan Paul. You know how many matches he's wrestled? 2. He's He's a natural athlete. He is a natural athlete, and he looks the part. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, if he started this a couple years back, imagine where he'd be. And this is just 2 matches in.
Listen, he's only 27. Dave Bautista didn't wrestle until he was, what, 35?
Yeah.
DDP, the same thing.
DDP got into the ring late, yeah.
And DDP was banged up, starting his wrestling career.
Yeah. You never know.
Listen, I believe they're making the best of this opportunity.
Yeah.
And if they feel like he can get in the ring with Roman, that means they have the belief in him as well. And like I said, probably Triple H, Shawn, Stephanie, Nick Khan. They probably said the same thing that I said and you said. Anyone that would get in the boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather, I think he can handle getting in the wrestling ring with Roman, giving him ample enough time to train. And I remember saying after our SummerSlam post show, I said, "What's next for Logan Paul?" And we couldn't think of anything. Honestly, this isn't a bad next step for him.
Yeah. I mean, because if he can get in there and deliver with the top guy in the company, what else can you say about this guy?
Yeah.
Like, if we understand he's going to be maybe a special attraction for now, but if he wanted to be in there full time, he probably could.
Yeah, he could.
And I think then maybe it would gain more respect from casual and hardcore fans alike once they see him do that. Unless, I think a lot of that will go away if he proves himself in the ring. I know it's probably we're going to hear a lot of, well, I don't really care about this match. I'm like, okay, so don't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it. Simple as that. I mean, people complain about the Saudi show, and
then they watch it. And then they watch it.
However, what makes it any different from Clash at the Castle? They're all glorified house shows. You're not going to get title changes. That's why everyone thought Drew McIntyre was going to win one of the titles. I never thought it for a second. Any other thoughts, Logan, Roman, anything pertaining to the subject?
Yeah, well, I guess today, while we're recording as of Saturday, they're going to have some press conference about this to actually confirm it. But after watching SmackDown last night, it's obvious where they're going since they literally brought it up. And he had a nice promo in the ring there. Heyman, he had a nice interaction with everybody. So, yeah, I think it'll be fine.
And he's been working with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, that's a big thing to say.
So here. I'm going to bring up it's a joke, but it's halfway joking. It's just me being sarcastic. CM Punk got up and said that he doesn't like when people don't take advice or seek advice from vets when he was talking about Hangman. Logan Paul has had 2 matches in WWE, right? And he's been studying old wrestling of the biggest superstars you can get, and The Rock, Austin, Guerrero, Mysterio, Roman. But he's been working with Heyman, he's been working with Triple H, and he's been getting feedback to improve. So CM Punk probably respects Logan Paul, even though he doesn't like the part-time people taking spots. So that's quite a paradox. But listen, I everyone on the card probably appreciates the extra money that's being drawn to the show, having him on the card. You're gonna have casual fans. You're gonna have more views on Smackdown, on the YouTube clips, Hulu, wherever the show is posted. More eyeballs are gonna watch
Oh yeah,
because
more
of it.
eyeballs outside of, like you said, this. I'm sure that whatever big spot of the match, that'll make its rounds around social media, around the internet, around entertainment outlets,
You know
sports
he's gonna
outlets
hit.
like
You know he's gonna get
ESPN.
1 or 2 spots in that match where it looks like he has momentum, and Roman's gonna end up beating him. He's gonna spear. He's gonna make him tap. Whatever. Well, I don't think he's gonna make him tap. He's gonna do the pass out. I would say that would probably be the finish. Because I don't. If they just do a spear pinfall finish, you're not killing him because he really just started. But I think it would look better if he just passed out to the guillotine. I think that would be the best finish for that match. What do you think?
Yeah, now that you say it, it probably would do the dual purpose of making Roman look strong and yet him look tough and fighting, like not tapping out, like you said. But at the same time, not being ridiculously so, like, oh my god, he's not tapping, he's just gonna go out like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then considering he's in a babyface role, it makes more sense. And again, Roman could use a nice strong win. I mean, and he's not going to need massive amounts of interference in this to do it. So, which I don't know why people complain
No,
about.
and you don't want to quote unquote throw someone else at him,
Yeah,
or you know
this, that's my thing about why people are complaining about Roman's reduced schedule. I'm like, do you really want to see a token title defense every month that you know he's going to win? That was starting to become a problem.
yeah.
Now he's special. He shows up certain times, much like in the golden age that we grew up
Hogan.
in. Hogan would show up on TV maybe once every other month
Yep.
or do an interview.
They were all pre-taped months in
Right.
advance.
So that's just how it was. It makes you feel more special. I know maybe people might disagree. Let us know in the comments. But yeah, I think the title should feel important. It shouldn't be defended every week.
No, it shouldn't.
I think AEW's done a good job with that as well.
Yeah.
They put it on TV. Obviously, they have less pay-per-views, but they don't overload us with title defenses for the biggest title, which is how it should be.
No, the only thing they do, and we'll get into AEW, we'll transition over.
Yeah.
The only thing AEW does they have too many tag team matches, way too many. And I get it. Now they have a trios tag title, which is completely unnecessary. But I'm going to give AEW credit, and I continue to give them credit, even though when we started this show, I was not bashing them, just giving them constructive criticism because it was very stale. And they heated up when Punk came back. And I'm going to be honest, the last 2 weeks, it's even continued without Punk, which is great. They've drawn consistent numbers now, over 1 million the last 3 or 4 weeks, which they weren't. They were 850,000, 890,000 in terms of the ratings. So you'd love to see the ratings up, especially when you have, competition from other things going on. You have September baseball, you have college football, you have NFL and everything else going on. It's good to see that their numbers are going up. You have intriguing content in terms of this tournament for the vacated AEW World Championship. They've had some really great matches come out of that tournament. Not the finals that I would have booked. I get it. They're the two biggest names in the tournament. Well, two of the top three biggest names in the finals in a match that we have seen already. I would have rathered Jericho in the finals versus Darby or even Sammy, just to make it interesting. Um, MJF has been MJF, which is great. And I think people are also viewing because MJF is back. They want to see what he's doing. They want to know what's going on with this faction. What's your thoughts, Frank?
Yeah, I think I was with you, but for the last couple of months they were kind of like in this holding pattern. When Punk was out with an injury, MJF is gone. Everybody's waiting for these guys to come back, or what's going to happen for All Out. And then obviously he did come back. A lot of tension went into All Out, and obviously the real life stuff draws eyes to the product, as we said. But they're able to keep them there. How? By, like you said, presenting great matches, focus book storytelling. They're building up to a big show this week, Grand Slam. It's booking 101. So when we used to talk about how Triple H booked the classic Black and Gold era, which we'll get into later, that's what we're talking about. So yeah, I mean, I know we talked about what you thought would be a good finals, and I kind of agreed that it would be interesting to have somebody new in there just to throw a little wrinkle in it. But I get why they did what they did. I mean, Moxley has put off his vacation to come back and do this, and it does feel like a big match. They did do it before, but it's only been done once this year, and it's not like an overdone match recently. And Moxley feels really hot. Danielson, since he's been back from his little injuries, they're building him back up. So it does feel like a big match. It should be a great match. The crowd's going to be into it.
Listen, no one has to sell me on Danielson.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, right away. We know he's going to have a great match, so it's nothing to concern with.
And he's going to bring out the best in anyone. And when Moxley is motivated, he is very good. He's great even.
Yeah, I think you said last week it was like that same energy of when Rock came back after the Austin walkout, and same kind of vibes, and they've built it up very well. Like I said, this show's been very logical, very strong, and that's all we need.
Wardlow is getting built back up.
There's a little bit of a focus. So obviously, Tony has listened to our show, and
who knows?
He might. He's the kind of guy that would look for random shows, and I mean that as a compliment. I don't mean that as an insult.
No, he might listen. I respect Tony that he is a fan like us, but I also, on the other hand, that sometimes could be a detriment to when you go and book a show. Sometimes you have to take the non-wrestling fan approach to certain things as well. Like, how am I going to get new fans or more eyeballs watching my product? And I think when you go into fantasy booking mode, sometimes those fantasy booking modes don't draw the average fan. Like Matt Hardy and Darby having a match is, that's fantasy booking. That's like, but it's expired Matt Hardy. Like Matt Hardy, you've given us great moments throughout the years, but my man, you need to hang it up. You and your brother both. When your brother comes back, this has to be your last run as wrestlers. It just has to be. Like
it's like you said, it's past the point. It was past the point when they had their last WWE nostalgia return. Once they got through with that, he tried the broken stuff at WWE, didn't work, and that was pretty much. I mean, Jeff is always going to be popular. He's always going to get a good response.
Jeff will always be popular.
WWE did the smart thing. I think when they were booking him, they didn't book him in the main event. They knew better to not put him in big title matches all the time. I know there's a lot of criticism of it. I thought it was smart because we see what happens when you do. You never know with him, unfortunately.
unfortunately, he has the demons, and I
Yeah,
think those demons also come out more when he
on the
is,
road. Yeah,
well, not even on
well,
the
not on the
road, when
road, but
he's in those
actually,
higher up spots
yeah,
on the card.
the pressure. Yeah,
He There's obviously an anxiety issue that goes on with him, and his coping mechanism are his demons.
sure.
Um, but all in all seriousness, don't they look at the Rock and Roll Express and go, "Do we really want to be them in in 15 years? Like, do we want to be this nostalgia act that we're old and flabby and we really
Yeah,
shouldn't be in the ring, but we're in the ring? Like, I don't want that for the Hardys. They shouldn't want that for themselves."
right. Because people are gonna respect them because they grew up watching them, but on the inside, they could be like, "Come on, guys." Like they'll still get the applause because respect and all, but or like I said, why book this random match? I know they have to figure out what this show is. Rampage became Sunday Night Heat faster than Sunday Night Heat became Sunday Night Heat, if you know what I mean.
Well,
So it's just, and that's fine. It has a terrible time slot. Um,
it needs to go to Saturdays at 6:05. Like,
yeah, that's
why
what we
hasn't
said.
that happened
Yeah,
yet?
I think we talked about that a couple of years ago. Why don't they do a show just for if you're going to be nostalgia? Why not?
Saturday 6:05
People,
AEW
I know people
Rampage.
say it's Saturday, but guess what? A lot of people are still home watching college football. They may not have gone out yet. So
You could do
put on
the
a great
old
show.
Crockett look, since
Yeah,
Tony Khan feels like Jim Crockett.
yeah.
You could roll
He
out the
can go down and borrow Billy Corgan's studio set from his current
yeah,
NWA and do that, like they
because
did at
God,
the
no
Flares and
one's
all that stuff.
watching NWA at this point,
Yeah, even me, I've even tapped out, and I enjoyed it when they first started the throwback show. But then again, they had a much better roster then.
and the pandemic killed
It
that
killed
show.
it. It's
Killed it
unfortunate,
because
but
the
what are you gonna do?
pandemic led them to losing Starks
All their
and
stars, yeah, pretty
Kingston
much.
and everyone that they were
Yeah,
building up.
and you wind up
Um,
main eventing pay per views with Trevor Murdoch and Tyrus.
yeah,
They wrote his clay. But yeah, not too bash on them too hard. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. If you're going to go with the nostalgia, like might as well do something with it, do something gimmicky with it. It's okay. It's a B show. It's fine. You should use it to highlight people that don't get a lot of TV time. We don't need to see the same. Darby doesn't need to be on that show.
to something AEW related. I think it's funny how they announced a hiatus of being the elite. Like, come on, did you even have to make an announcement? We kind of just figured
Yeah,
that was going to be put on hold. Um, and apparently, the suspensions are just like whenever Tony Khan feels like it's like sending someone a timeout, like in the corner. Like, I'll let you come back out when you're going to behave, and when I feel like you're going to behave. That it still boggles my mind. No press release. No, this is what we did suspension wise to the public. It to me, like, you want to make everything serious with records and rankings, and you want to make this company feel like it's a legit company. Come out with the press release and say CM Punk suffered an injury. Once he's recovered from the injury, he's also going to serve a suspension of 30 days, whatever it is.
right.
The Bucks and Omega 30 days. The producers 30 days.
It's not like we don't know this happened. You can't sweep it under the rug. And he in the past he has acknowledged it. Like we talked about Jeff when Jeff was arrested. He acknowledged that he put a statement out.
Yeah.
Why are we afraid? I know it's maybe because it's his EVPs, but it's okay. You don't have to say anything other than the facts, like you just said. We're suspect. You don't have to go into details. This is what's going to happen. Then people will take it more seriously. I mean, and that's why we. I don't know. It still seems out there. I think we're like the only two people that seem to be looking at it this way, because I keep hearing, it's just more and more siding with the Bucks and Kenny and Hangman, all these guys. Punk's miserable person. Yes, we know that already. We've talked about that on the show well before this happened. Nobody's saying, "Oh, he's a good guy. This, he didn't do anything wrong." He had valid points that have not been answered yet.
I don't know.
I don't know either. At this point, it's just like
we obviously haven't heard from Punk.
Obviously, smartly, probably on his part, not to say anything.
It just makes me wonder. Like, if they would have fired anyone, it would have came out. It would have leaked already.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone was getting fired.
Wouldn't be a smart thing to do.
I honestly think when everyone is back, including Punk, there will be a storyline that involves them. Sure. It's just
there's money on the table there.
There's way too much money on the line. And all those guys, I'll give the devil their due. Kenny, the Bucks, Punk. I don't know if I'll say Tony, but I'll lump them in there. They're all about making money. Look at Omega and the Bucks. How many people bought Bullet Club t-shirts when they were running the Bullet Club? How many people bought those t-shirts? Everyone. I bought one. You bought one. Everyone bought one.
I did not, but okay.
Well,
fair enough.
I'm gonna lump you in.
You can lump me. I know what you mean, though. I know what you're saying. That when they were in it, that's when it became this sensation, and they were merch machines,
and they had
and the independent scene.
In that group previously had AJ Styles, Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And they couldn't move the merch. So what do you think about marketing and making money? Those guys are geniuses. They are literal geniuses.
These guys
I think when cooler heads prevail here, and it probably has already happened, and they put a cap on it, you're going to see AEW Civil War take place on screen when everyone is healthy and ready to do it. And the other thing we'll touch on, there was just really weird reports that came out this week that Omega sent fillers out to WWE at one point. The Bucks did. Now they're refuted. It seems like they're trying to work the sheets here.
Probably.
To get more money from Tony.
Obviously, they're going to reach out when their time is due. That's just smart business.
I honestly
don't see it happening either.
I don't see it happening, especially I think there is a rift or a philosophical difference between Cody, the Bucks, and Omega, and I don't think they want that in their locker room. And Cody's too nice of a guy that he won't make waves, but it'll just make it just a really bad situation for them.
It's for the best that they're in different places. Cody's where he belongs, and they're kind of where they should be. And I don't think they're going to rock that. And also, I think that after the last time when they really courted these guys, I don't think Hunter's going to go out of his mind to try to sign these guys.
No.
He has a really big idea if he really believes they would sign, but I don't think you need to. Hey, anything can happen, as they always say.
Correct.
We'll see what happens in the couple of years when these contracts are up.
There was a couple WWE things that I wanted to touch on.
Sure.
Actually, NXT.
Okay.
So NXT 2.0 is going away. To a lot of people, they want the darker logo, and they're getting the darker logo, which is fine.
Yeah, they're getting a new set of some kind because they did tape next week's show, so they're doing something to the.
They're going to do something. There. I mean, obviously, you can't really change the roster unless you're going to start releasing people from NXT again. I don't think that's going to happen. What do you think here? Do you think we're going to go back to the darker filmed show, or just more dim than what we got? Like, what do you think?
I don't know if we'll go like fully dim. I think he's going to try to find a balance. I think that's what he's trying to do right now. For a lot of people, that was like a symbolic thing, the change of the look. People immediately thought, I'm not going to like this show.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do themselves any favor because they just threw out a whole bunch of new good people at once, which is not something they used to do. But it was a complete reboot, and it's something that had to be done, whether we like it or not. Now, a year in, they made a big deal of this anniversary. I know we've talked about on the show. We predicted what was going to happen here. You, me, and Charlie.
Yeah, that was
when
going
they made a
away.
big deal, but when they were making a big deal this week and all the packages, which they did a great job, of course,
Yep.
as always with their video packages, they made if you looked at these packages, you would have thought this was one of the most epic years ever.
Yep.
But and then at the end, the little Shawn Michaels comes on and just kind of, we've always been this, and we are always going to be whatever he said, and the subtle change in the logo, which as soon as I saw the light, I knew exactly where they're going with it, obviously. But yeah, it's just probably just kind of trying to find the best medium. I think obviously with a different person head of creative and his talent relations as Hunter's doing now, you'll see maybe more of a. He's not going to necessarily try to turn into the super indie again, but he will recruit from indies as well as new people. I think they're streamlining it, which is fine.
They might pick up some AEW dark people.
Yeah, I could easily see that happening. And I think I said this to you off the air. Whatever we think about this year of 2.0, they've managed to create more possible new stars than the old NXT ever did. I know people are going to say, well, the booking. I say, well, what I mean by that is the people they've lined up could have easily done well under the old regime as well, because the way they were booking,
Braun Breaker #1.
Yeah, exactly. But Braun's also like he's not only like the Vince dream, but he could also be like, even if you're a hardcore fan, like he's the big muscular guy, but he can work. He's strong. He's got the lineage, which people love, of course, us longtime fans. Wearing the shirt right here,
And no one talks about how Mandy Rose can't wrestle anymore.
Right. I mean, I see a lot of people complain that she's been champ for so long, but you're not really. We're not saying she's going to be your #1 worker of the year, but it's actually done her a lot of good to go back down there because she didn't have that the first time. She was rushed up.
Yep.
She often tough enough. They threw her on Total Divas right away. She had no idea what she was doing. She went up. She went to NXT briefly. They sent her up with the Page stable. She kind of was floundering around until they did her thing with Otis and the split with Sonya. But the best thing that could have happened was to send her back down. And I like that they're willing to do that. And I think we'll continue to see a lot of people moving up and down, which is a good thing. Bring some of the vets down to work with the younger talent. And then you can vice versa. Yeah, it should be interesting to see what they're doing. I don't know. Like I said, they'll probably just try to find a medium. They've been at times they've been a little too gimmicky, which a lot of fans aren't going to like. But that's what happens when a lot of these young talent they're workshopping stuff. They're trying to find they don't know.
I think as they're moving talent from NXT UK over here,
yeah,
you're going to see a couple of the NXT 2.0 alums make their way to the main roster, as we've already seen with Solo Sequoia. I think we're going to see Carmelo Hayes. We're probably going to see Santos in that group.
Yeah, since they left
at some point.
It's going to be a nice class. Like I said, and even though not all of them came up under Hunter's thing, although a lot of them did, Santos been there a while. It'll work. It'll work more on the transition. I hope that maybe whatever they're planning on doing puts a little more eyes back on the product. Maybe that'll help. But I don't know.
Topic attraction, obviously, as a whole's been.
Yeah, I mean, that's a main roster ready act. Whether or not, I mean, you could say about their in-ring exploits, but they are what they are. They can handle the
Gigi Dolan is the most popular female wrestler on the internet.
I mean, she's not a rookie. I mean, some stuff's a little rough, but yeah, and she's right. She already has a built-in audience, so
for many reasons, she already has a built-in. She already has a built-in audience.
But she's been working at it for a while. Like I said, I used to go see her.
Yeah, the former Priscilla Kelly, who I guess prior to this was the biggest claim to fame was that whole tampon incident.
Yeah, her reality show experience.
Yeah, but yeah, so goodbye NXT 2.0. We'll see what happens with the new look and the new feel.
Yeah,
we'll obviously report on that.
Yeah, it makes sense to just go back to NXT. The 2.0, that was just like to signal that there was a change in philosophy, and now I don't think we need that anymore. So we
That
move on.
we'll move, yeah, and we're gonna move on. I have just a couple cliff note things I want to touch on.
Sure. I was gonna bring up. We talked about Solo. Obviously, he showed up this week, winning the North American title, which I thought was a very smart thing. They,
Yes.
he came on SmackDown, defended it, putting some eyes, trying to get some cross promotion there, which is a good thing. And it actually paid off a storyline for the people that actually who've been watching 2.0. He kept telling him he was coming for that title. And then when he was called up, everybody's like, "Oh, I guess he's not." Well, he shut me up real quick.
Well, do you think that he's gonna end up dropping the title, like vacating it or something like
Oh,
that, or
I would. Oh, because he's now in the ring. I don't think he's going to lose it to a main roster person. I mean, he could do that just as a shock. I think eventually they'll have him drop it. He's got it, right? Even if they don't have him pinned, if there's some kind of multi-man, they'll find a
no,
way.
like what Paige did when a long time ago
Oh,
when she just
because it was weird because she was already champ, then she came up. Came up, and then a week later he won this title. I don't know what they're going to do, but I thought it was kind of a smart thing. It was a nice surprise on the show this week for their big anniversary show, and then
yeah, it's cool to see the bloodline all with titles, I guess.
yeah, it's a good way to promote.
Sammy.
Yeah, except for Sammy, but he's the honorary Uso. That's the only title.
Dude, he is so, like, you give that guy anything,
Anything,
he's like,
literally
he
anything.
knocks it out the park every time.
He loves it.
Him and Owens, man, like they're both just, oh man, they're so great.
Whatever it is, they can turn it into. Owens having a heck of a time himself, probably doing some of his best work this last year, and then again this week, what a promo!
Oh, great promo, and I like seeing the prize fighter back. That is his bread and butter role.
Yeah,
And people will say like, I'm a Vince Russo fan. And Vince Russo does not like Kevin Owens. He's like, oh, he's out of whatever. Cool. But there was this thing, but the dude would powerbomb people on the apron and ringside,
right.
Like
Yeah,
he
everybody
had
didn't care.
the badass in him, and then they slowly took the badass away from him. Like,
yeah, his title reign was weird. I mean, the stuff with Jericho was great. It was
oh,
fun,
it was great.
but it was different.
Yeah.
But I think he's found the good niche now, where he's got a combination of he's serious yet he can still be funny.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a baby face now, but he still has that real edge to him. So
Yep.
I mean, if you want to put him in the main event, you want to put a title on him, you can do it.
And the last time we saw Ezekiel Owens powerbound on the apron, now apparently
that's it for him. Yeah,
they removed Ezekiel from the roster listing and put Elias back on, which
makes sense.
leads us to believe how many times did I say it? I was like, there was no reason to get rid of Elias. Elias was already over. He was over. You didn't have to make another act, but I get it. It's like the Mick Foley. It's always something good that you could show the versatility of someone, but we never got a full-blown Elias run like we were supposed to get.
No, he's had a lot of start and stops, his injuries, but it was a fun interlude, but it was time to move on. I like that they used the Owens thing to write it off. I do hope when he does come back, as I'm assuming he's had the time to heal up and grow his beard back, he'll come to avenge his brother, whatever they want to say, at least first, and then he can go on to his run. Whatever they want to do with him, heel or face, I don't know, whatever they feel like doing him. They've bounced it back and forth quite a bit, but I think he's been away enough time with this gimmick to kind of like freshen it up. So it should be good when he comes back.
And at what point? So 2 things I want to touch on from SmackDown.
Yes.
You know how we said in the beginning of the show, making someone appear less makes them more special?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Ronda Rousey on SmackDown all the time. Like, I don't want her on. I want her on like once every 6 weeks, maybe once a month. I do not want her on 2 or 3 weeks out of a month. It makes her seem less special. Doesn't make her seem as big of a star.
Yeah, and then last night she didn't even actually do anything. I know they wanted you have advertise her for the show. I don't know if they did a dark match or something. It makes sense. You can still do that without having to put her on a segment. Yeah, and that was that segment last night. Jeez. Yeah. I thought it was better when she like a month ago when she suspended. So she showed up like after a couple weeks, came out, dropped a bunch of money, and then browbeat Adam Pearce and took off. That's fine, but Yeah, we don't need her on TV every week. We don't need her wrestling all the time. Maybe Fox, I know, maybe once are on there, but they've yet to find the sweet spot with her. And the last time, her first run, it took until the very end for them to find that spot with the Becky feud. But I still think we're going to go back to that. So we'll see what they're doing. I think last week they teased a little bit her and Shayna.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a heel turn at some point. Just make her, like that. Don't talk so much. Just go out there and beat up people. That's fine. Becky can get it over with her promos. So yeah. I don't think we need her on TV every week, especially if it's going to be what we had last week.
No, we don't.
Obviously, I think they're going to put the title back on her. I don't know if you agree, but Liv is obviously that. Not that they've done anything with her, but it's just not working for me.
No, it's not working.
She's better off as the underdog chasing. She's not like to make her like you gotta. If you're going to be like the champ like that, you gotta. She's not terrible, but she's not good enough to carry that role.
No,
in my opinion, in the ring.
Now, Aaliyah got hurt. It seems Shotzi and Raquel are now aligned. At what point can we just get a heel Raquel and she joins Control?
I think we could still get that. Because I still think like the whole point of them winning the tournament in the first place was just to try to get her over as a strong, dominant kind of character. Shotzi came back
I think she's just going to get pissed with having deadweight tag team partners.
Because this keeps happening to her. Yeah.
And she's going to end up like, hey, Dakota, like our best time, like my best run was with you as a tag team. And then we get Freebird rules with the women's tag belts, which would make more sense.
I can dig that. Good to see Shotzi on TV again, but and back in a babyface role, which I think suits her better.
It does. It does.
She wants to go out there and have fun. She's like being this snarling heel. It just doesn't seem natural because that's not who she is.
No.
So I'm glad that he made an adjustment there. Braun obviously had another appearance. He's going to have a match with Otis next week, apparently. And crowds are responding well to him, so far so good with him.
Yeah.
Anything else from SmackDown?
No, that's it. So I wanted to just finish off the show here. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Helps us out. Hit the like button as well. Down below that banner, we have giveaways. Now, if we can get to the 800 sub mark, I will give away a select WWE Blaster box to the people in the comments. And you have to be subbed as well. So if you're not subbed, you will not win the giveaway. WWE Select Blaster box. And they've been fully loaded. Frank got one. He got a John Cena numbered card. But we've seen autographs pulled. We've seen a lot of cool cards pulled. If you want to join in on that action, sub the channel. Thank you so much. Good night. Good luck. Before we sign off, Frank, anything else?
Yeah, thanks again. As always, thanks for support. We're entering into a nice, fun age in wrestling, I think. I told you. I think so, too. I texted you a couple weeks ago. I think we're hitting a new golden age. We're in the beginning of it, and that's a good thing for us, for everybody. So, yeah, please like, share, subscribe, give us some comments. Next week, I'll have some thoughts. I'll be attending Grand Slam this week, so I'll give you my thoughts. Yeah, have a great week, everybody. Enjoy everything that you're going to watch this week. I'm sure there's plenty.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
All right. Take care.